I didn't start eating the carnivore diet for my kids. I started eating it for me. And after a year of thinking clearly, I started seeing everything differently, including the private school we were paying thousands of dollars to trust. They called us in, and our daughter, our bright, strong-willed daughter, and they said that she needed therapy, and they'd labeled her as troubled. And something inside me broke. They called us into the office and said that she was having trouble and that she was the problem and that she would need therapy. And if you've ever sat in a school parking lot and thought, is my kid okay in there? Well, I see you, because I was that mom. Before Carnivore, I had brain fog and I was just going through the motions. And I'll be honest, a year before that meeting, I couldn't have made the decision that I made. I was too tired and too foggy and too disconnected from my own instincts. I wouldn't have trusted myself to teach, kittens, let alone my 2 teenage daughters. But after a year of eating the carnivore diet, that changed that. It wasn't overnight, and this wasn't like a 3-day miracle. It was gradual. It was after 6 months in, I noticed that the fog had thinned out. The brain fog had thinned out. And by 9 months, I was, thinking again. I was reading and I was interested in things again. By a year, I had something that I had lost somewhere in my 30s. I was the ability to sit with a hard question and think it through without panicking. Carnivore didn't make me a teacher. It just made me willing to trust myself enough to try. So pulling the girls out of 8th grade and 10th grade, just with no curriculum, no philosophy, really not a plan at all. Just these kids, and I was nervous, and we just did deschooling. We spent months just catching our breath without textbooks and schedules. We did get bored, and you know what? That was a good thing. The boredom was the best thing that happened to us. It allowed us space and time to think about where we wanted to go and what kind of conversations we had conversations, tough conversations. We were able to sit with the doubt and the fear, and also moments that confirmed the decision was the right decision. And every time I doubted this, I came back to the same thought. I had made this decision with a clear mind, and I can trust it. Now we're still homeschooling, still carnivore, still counterculture on both fronts. And who would think that eating meat, eggs, and dairy was so counterculture? But it really is. People assume that these are 2 separate decisions, but they're really not. They both came from the same place. Me finally trusting my own mind. Because I had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years by the time, this big choice came out, this big decision came about. There was really no reason that I couldn't be a homeschooling mom. These big decisions, they came from the same place, and it was me just finally trusting my own brain. Because carnivore had cleared out the static in my mind, and the rest was just me thinking clearly for the first time in years. I'm Allie, and carnivore didn't make me a homeschool mom, but it gave me the mental clarity to stop outsourcing my authority over my own body and over my kids. This is our homeschool story. Follow along, and I'll see you in the comments.